So, it was fun. This team is exciting. They're a bunch of great people. It's different. It's different. I mean, nobody went to these games. And now this is important because now Weber State's running an ad campaign with Klauke, the baseball, he's as dry as dirt. And Purple Rain, they're calling it. Well, you know me. Anti-Neo Yoko Dada is a nude descending down staircase, dead purple nude found in elevator. Ha! Purple Rain. You ever, just Google what Prince said about Purple Rain. Just Google what does Purple Rain mean backwards. How many videos have I done Purple Rain backwards? How many videos have I done about Prince's death? Prince sent me a check for $3,000, written in purple ink on a Minnesota draft. A money order. He did do a lot of people. I think it's irony they call it Purple Rain because I flipped that tomato soup can in front of the stadium and, in the old board. It's historic what's happening. And this has very little to do with football. Even though we love the game, this has to do with the student body. This has to do culturally. Trying to take back this 20 years of hijacking the corporate whoredom of the United States, which has slaughtered the universities in this country. These universities are full of money. You go to these universities, they're full of Chinese oligarchy rich kids. When the state taxpayers funding these professors have upped the ante, they don't teach, they don't do any research, they pulled research endowments away, like for me. They pulled my funding. That's what they've done. They sold the signal. They took our power. No power at the game. Well, we got to figure out a way to backdoor them. So you countercultures and you activists, if you're going to be one, then be one. This is important. I hope this catches on around the country. We're the first ones to do this. This is why it's legendary at Weber State. Now, I've talked to Jay Hill about this. I've talked to Randy Ray about this. They think just like I think. This is important. So at the game, Weber State in the last 10, 50 years does all this crazy, stupid propaganda, throwing pizzas around. They got this PR guy out there going sickening, stupid, crazy stuff. It's just a total distraction from the game, whatever. I've been bitching about it. Jake pulled the plug on it. It's gone. It's a clean up there now. They got the new scoreboard. Let's remember, this team, this is coming right from an NFL scout on Saturday to me. There are at least 7 players on this freaking Weber State football field that will play in the NBA. They will go early in drafts. At least 7. This old days of the giant NCAA professional Alabama football teams are over. These so-called FBS teams, and this is what everybody's turned on about this because this is a real tournament. This isn't pollsters. You got to win your conference. You get in. There's a 16-game tournament. Weber, came close to winning it last year. They came 2 years ago. So it's like we were talking the other day, that Shark 1960s, the best team in Weber State. No, 2017 was the best team in Weber State history. They should have won the national championship, 1 call away. I think this team's better. And so things are changing culturally. Manny's a tech IT guy. This is a passionate thing to you, right?
Yes, it's my hobby and I love it.
So, you should have seen this place. It was dead. But see, this is what they're up to. I can't overstate this. These border regions have moved in. These they think they're wannabe, imperialists, have pulled the plugs on college radio stations all over the country in the last 20 years. They've destroyed them. College public radio is just exactly for what we're doing. That's what people did for years. They are the counterculture.
The voice of the students.
They're the voice of the student, the voice of the community. They're the investigative journalists. They're the counters. They're the going at it because we have academic freedom. And this is important. We have academic freedom. It's written into the United States Constitution, First Amendment. It's written into the Utah State. We can say whatever we want. Now, one thing that did hurt them, by selling our signal and going digital, I don't have to watch the F word anymore. Legally, I can say it. And so we're hoping this catch on around the country. Now, stay with me. This is important. So the NCAA, California is working a bill through the California legislature right now to allow students to promote themselves, to force the NCAA into give up these year-over-year contracts that they tear over. The NCAA does not give anything back to the school. They take. So California's like, no, you need to give health care to these kids. Well, these men, I shouldn't say kids, and women, for life, because of what happened to him right here. Where was the NCAA then? Leading rusher in the history of this corrupt football program? He had a heart attack and stroke at 26 years old. He had injuries, become distraught, became homeless, threw him in a jail cell, and he died this year at 32 years old. That's him. Yeah, he looks like a real bad drug addict, don't he? Looks like just a piece of you-know-what, don't he? Because he wasn't. You know, Dr. Hanley at the end. You know, he went after it. So that's what we're up to around here. And we're up against some stiff winds. Against the wind. I'm still running. You know, I used to spin that record in here in 1980, 81. Against the wind. Joe's run off the Fire Lake. So that's what we're up to. So this morning I catch the ex-Weber County Commissioner, this Green Acre Farms, this head of the Utah State Agriculture who's under police investigation. I just talked to the reporter for the Standard Examiner who, under GRAMA Act of Utah, all police transcripts are legal to journalists. He's sued to block. I just caught him spraying with a freaking rig again, poisoning my property. Sent it to all the media, sent it to the health department. Health department told me to call the Department of Agriculture when they know damn well that he's head of the Department of Agriculture. This is the corruption. This is what we're up against. This White, you know, who was this President White who he left here recently was the most corrupt president in the history of this school. I'll tell you how. He gave this Gibson character, why he's under police investigation, the presidential award, who he never went up here. He got the DNR job with no credentials. I taught the environmental economics class for here, for God's sakes. We have hundreds and hundreds of students have come out of here who have enough credentials for that job. And they hand it to them? Are you kidding me? You know, so that's what we're up to. This is much more than football. And it is to Jay Hill, too. It's much more than football. He'll tell you, it's legendary what this guy's doing. This guy's full of integrity. He knows. I was at the thing where he spoke to the oligarchs, and he looked right at them. You know, they're doing the ceremony for the grand opening of the new North End. Just remember, when I got here, this team was 2-10 at home. We're going to win football games, but it's much more than that. This is about the community. My graduation rates are rising. You know, he recruits local players for the first time in decades. They have lots of great local players. You know, and he knows it's more than money. He could be making 10 times what he's making a lot. Same with Randy. They understand what, you know, I've talked to them extensively both about this. And they're in total agreement. They know, they've watched it. I mean, come on. He was down at the University of Utah and watched how they played and they destroyed that school. He was there. He knows. It's got to change. This is, I mean, you don't think they can coach this many kids and not become like these kids? Of course they like them. They're people. And then he watches what happens to them. They want to make a change. And this is grassroots what we're doing. And we're going to do it. And oh, no, you're not. Watch us. With or without you. We don't need your permission. Which we legally do not need their permission. You know, but we make it work. And we're very cordial about it. They're not. We are. And I'm not saying that, you know, the athletic department per se. I'm talking the coach. I'm talking about the hierarchy in the old guard. Of course they like it just the way it is. They've been able to steal and loot and freaking put their dogma all over this university and turn these universities into corporate whores. They sold, the Koch brothers bought University of Utah's business. R.C. Willey's bought Weber State's. Who's going to buy the University of Utah's? And by the way, all the ex-professors here at Westminster. It's like I talked to this kid who teaches in the thing. He's from Indiana. I go, well, these local students ain't good enough. God. These local students ain't good enough. Oh my God. Not good enough. I said, they could see your scores. We're the #1 school business in the country. You realize we have 5 major business schools in this state, I told him? You're lucky I don't punch you in the face. You're lucky I'm a peace activist and I don't believe in violence. Try me, I'll eat you for lunch. When I taught they were #1 via the testing. We have Westminster, we have the LDS School of Business, we have BYU, we have University of Utah. Those are top-notch business schools. Weber used to be top, so why would they come here? Not good enough. We see your scores, you're not good enough. You gotta pack your shit and go back to Indiana where you come from. Take Mike Bond with you. You know? They hijacked this legendary school, this incredible school, with the #1 school of nursing, this incredible engineering department, all this. And by the way, I tell people, go pull my transcript. I just don't apply for these degrees. I have enough credits to probably have 10 degrees, 12. You know, they pull my funding away. You know, want to take my MBA away because of my stance against the nuclear industry? Let them try. Who cares? I'm from the Aaron Swartz thesis. I self-educate. You know, here I am, right? I'm still standing. You're going to get your turn. You know, what's the ecology? The salmon collapse. You know what I've been able to do since I've had cancer? Probably the greatest Ph.D. in human history. You know, this is cutting edge. This is much more than sport. Sport is reflectionary to culture. They have taken our universities. These professors, they aren't professors anymore. Scientists are mystified, they're baffled, they're puzzled, they're regurgitating freaking high school fainting goats. You know, who travel around and pat each other on the back and get fucking back massages. That's who they are. Exploiting students. They're taking advantage of a 0% interest rate to an economy that forces students to go to school so they can get some money to pay the rent. Oh man, Trump, I can't pay the rent. All my money done been spent. That's what we're up against. They're exploiting it. They've doubled salaries. Clyde Cooley was the highest paid professor on this campus 20 years ago. I made $80,000. He used to say all the time, you think I could not make more than that? I mean, University of Chicago, NYU was begging him on their hands and knees for years. He wasn't about to leave. Probably wishes he would have. I probably wish I should have now that this corporate agriculture roundup thing is spraying around my house. My grandkids can't even get in my house. I cannot overstate how corrupt Weber County is, how corrupt Weber State University is or was. There's still plenty of corruption up here, but it's getting much better. Football team, and you don't believe me, you start Googling, you start doing some work. The most corrupt football team in America, bar none. Not my words, the NCAA. Think sex for grades, cheating, freaking you name it, stealing money left and right, bleeding $1.5 million a year, disappearing. You'd think they'd win with that kind of cheating. Worst win-loss record in the country, bar none. One guy rolls into town. It's legendary. And he turns this Titanic around. And he did, I still don't believe it. It makes my head swim, I think about it. I remember when they beat Montana, I'm like, what? What? Weber couldn't beat Montana. They couldn't come within 30 points, 50. And we're talking football. It was pathetic. People still don't go to the game, but that's changing. Purple Rain, Klauke doing it. So, as you know, I'm headed to Vienna. Thank you, everybody, who supported this historic work. It cut off my freaking research Ph.D. funding. Well, I'll find it. You know, sleep in a sleeping bag on the beach if I got to. Sleep on a park bench if I got to. We played at counts of 38. You know, hope I can find something to eat if I got it. Oh yeah, I've done it for what, 7, 8 years. Have a doctor look you in the face when you're perfectly healthy at 51 years old and say you'll be dead within 2 months. Then the next doctor comes in, looks at you, resurgent oncologist, says I've screened everything, you'll be dead within 6 weeks. Then the next doctor comes in, you know, it's over. Only chance we got to cut all your guts out. Hell, when you're perfect, and you know, just one day with a stomach ache. See if that doesn't rock your boat. Vincent Hansen stepped in. He's a guy like Jay up there, full of integrity. What a war we've had. You know, I'm here. You know, I grew up in West Weber. I grew up here. It's my life here. I've been here my whole life. What do? Just hand that over? You know, just because a bunch of corrupt pricks for 20 years, and they're selfish. They're creepy, by the way. I'll start introducing you to all these creeps. They'll make you barf. They're that creepy. These people that took over. This Board of Regents is disgusting. The illegal sale of this signal. It would never happen if I wasn't in the bone marrow transplant fighting for my life. Corrupt as hell. I watched just like the rest of the country. So incredibly corrupt. Like I said, you seen the debt? 0% and brand Greenspan science fiction economics. You know, the Pacific Ocean's collapsing. Fukushima denial is over the top. New scale from hell. You know, I'll give you an 8.8 update. Let me start this camera over on this 8.8 update. What's 8.8? 8.8, the new scale from hell, little nuclear module.